sound of sirens pierced through the night as I lay motionless on the cold pavement. Blood trickled from a gash on my forehead, merging with the tears that streamed down my face. The chaos around me was overwhelming, and I struggled to make sense of what had just happened. I used to believe I had it all figured out. I had dreams, ambitions, and a strong sense of identity. But all of that shattered in an instant, leaving me in a state of confusion and uncertainty. My buddies invited me to a nearby bar on a cool autumn night to celebrate a recent promotion at work. They wanted to toast to my success because I finally got the job I had always wanted. I immediately accepted their invitation because I'm always up for having a good time. Drinks flowed freely as the evening went on, and my self-control grew less. I had overdone the celebration. My friends offered to call a cab to take me home. They were concerned about my increasingly erratic conduct. But I waved them off since I thought I could drive safely while intoxicated. My automobile ducked and swerved through the lanes as I drove home in the gentle moonlight. I was in my element. To get some fresh air, I rolled down the window, turned up the radio, and started singing along. Blissfully naive of the threat I could have been to both myself and others. My vision started to become foggy, and I was too slow to react as an unexpected obstruction emerged in front of me. The screeching of tires filled the night air as my car slammed into another vehicle, its headlights blinding me for an instant. The world seemed to slow down as the two vehicles collided with a deafening crash. Things went dark after that, and in the aftermath, I heard the sound of sirens grow louder as emergency responders rushed to the scene. The other automobile was severely damaged, and my car was mangled. Sirens and screams of "both drivers are trapped in their cars" are all I can recall hearing in my memory. I was promptly pulled from the wreckage and given medical assistance by the rescue workers. The incident that fateful evening changed everything, and I began to realize the harsh consequences of my actions. When I woke up in a hospital bed, I had a hazy recall of what had transpired. I learned that the other motorist sustained significant injuries and was in very bad health. I was charged with driving under the influence, reckless driving, and causing serious collision while intoxicated. Although the physicians forewarned me that the road to recovery would be long, they were unable to foresee the journey I would have to make to mend my broken self. I found myself in a tornado of emotions as the days stretched into weeks. The person I saw in the mirror was unrecognizable to me. Although the physical injuries were getting better, the emotional trauma continued to haunt me, making me question who I was before. A shattered and lost soul has taken the place of my former lively and self-assured personality. There were numerous court appearances during the ensuing months. I came to understand the severe emotional and legal ramifications of my decisions. I had to face alcoholism head-on, and I had lost the confidence of my friends. An evening of joy quickly transformed into a night of terror. I had to reassess my life after the accident served as a wake-up call. As the legal proceedings unfolded, I felt an overwhelming sense of guilt and remorse. I couldn't believe that my thoughtless decision to drink and drive had caused so much pain and suffering. While I awaited my trial, the weight of guilt and remorse pressed down on me. The ruling of the court was severe. I was given a lengthy prison sentence, which I accepted as payment for my careless deeds. A new existence was ahead of me as my new career came to an end. Prison would require some getting used to, but the true sentence was something I would live with forever. The knowledge that my decisions had torn a family apart, creating unimaginable anguish and grief. I swore to make atonement in every way I could as the prison gates closed behind me. To tell people about my experience and to warn them of the terrible effects of drunk driving. It was a vow I meant to keep, a sliver of light in a tale otherwise overshadowed by sadness. I was determined to restore my identity and turn to the little moments that had once made me happy for comfort. In an effort to jog memories and piece together the disparate parts of my life, I visited the pleasures I once loved. Through photographs, books, and films, I felt a small spark within me that brought back memories of who I used to be. When I smelled coffee in my favorite cafe, heard one of my favorite songs, or felt the cover of a priceless book. But I didn't fully grasp the value of connection until I met Natalie on an inmate chat line. Natalie was a sympathetic therapist who looked past my damaged exterior. I started a voyage of introspection and self-reflection under her direction. I was able to peel back the layers of trauma that had engulfed me through therapy by facing my deepest fears and inadequacies. As the weeks progressed into months and then into years, I understood that recovery was not a simple process. There were times when I felt as though I might be consumed by the weight of my past. But in those circumstances, I discovered a level of resilience I had no idea I possessed. I resisted letting the accident define who I am as a person. I had visits from Natalie for the entire time I was detained. She aided me in seeing the extent of the suffering I had brought forth. She urged me to compose a letter expressing my deep regret and sympathies to the family. I had trouble finding the forgiveness I was looking for, but I also knew I didn't deserve any of it. I was a different man when my prison sentence was over. Even though I was aware that I would never be able to undo the anguish I had brought about, I was still determined to find a way to make it right. I made the decision that my mission in life would be to tell my tale and advocate against drunk driving. After my release, I devoted myself to speaking out against drunk driving, telling people about my experience through local media, schools, and community gatherings. I hope to save others from committing the same terrible choices by making them aware of the grim reality of my acts and their everlasting repercussions. Bit by bit, I started embracing the changes that had occurred. I recognized that the fractures in my identity had created space for growth and transformation. The accident had stripped away the superficial layers, forcing me to confront the essence of who I am beneath the titles, achievements, and expectations. Rediscovering my self-identity after trauma was not a quick fix, nor was it a one-time revelation. It was a continuous process of self-discovery and acceptance. I learned to be patient with myself, celebrating the small victories and forgiving the setbacks. I discovered that resilience is not about bouncing back to who you were before, but rather embracing the person you have become. I no longer regard myself as a damaged person or just a formerly incarcerated man. And as I stand on the brink of my new beginning, I've discovered that our identities are not set in stone. We occasionally make decisions that have a lasting impact, and through those decisions, life becomes a patchwork of events. In the midst of the pitch blackness, I found light among the pieces, and I was a more powerful, more resilient version of myself. Although the catastrophe may have destroyed my world, it also gave me the chance to reconstruct it according to my own standards. I was determined to make sure that even if my acts were wrong, they could still be used to teach others a valuable lesson. My experience serves as a sad reminder of the terrible effects of drunk driving, as well as the sobering lesson that no one is indestructible. The decisions we make can have long-lasting, irrevocable effects. There's never a wrong time to make the right decision.